Hurts looking left, lofting left, going for the end zone. It is caught for the touchdown. Devontae Smith, first NFL catch, is a score.
You know, it's not a pick. Offensive guys don't call it picks, KB. It's a slight.
9 seconds to go. First and goal. Pressure on Hurts. He's in trouble. Has to watch the clock. Throwing end zone. It is caught. Touchdown. Dallas Goedert.
An easy catch. Take a look here. He's fighting with the Mike linebacker. He stays alive.
They will go for two after a 12-play drive, scoring with 2 seconds left in the half. Hurts going to hand it off, and in for two is Sanders.
Well, this feels a little different there, doesn't it, Johnny?
Oh, it feels very different, but a very good different.
Oh, my God. Ladies and gentlemen, if you've been living under a rock for the last 3 hours, the Philadelphia Eagles maybe, possibly, just maybe a little bit, might be back. The Eagles dominate, and I do mean dominate, the Atlanta Falcons 32-6. Your Philadelphia Eagles are leading the NFC East as we speak at 1-0. Johnny, rapid fire, initial big takeaways from the game. What did you love about this team?
I loved the adjustments because you saw Atlanta come out and go right down the field. Now, it was a bend but not break defense to hold them to field goals. But then after that, the defense tightened up. They adjusted to it, and they were able to stifle Matt Ryan and the Atlanta offense.
Yeah, it was big. I mean, look, the beginning of the game, it started off a little slow, which was surprising considering both teams went no huddle. They went right for it. But the fact that the Philadelphia Eagles and their brand new defense did not give up a touchdown at all today, that says a lot to me. You know, 2 field goals in the first half, and then after that, nothing. Absolutely nothing. That's big.
And the thing is, you know, they had over 100 yards in the first half, Atlanta. Atlanta finished the day with 124 yards, 260 total yards, 3 of 14 on third down. The defense came to play. Like I said, adjustments. What Jonathan Gannon did, adjusting, making sure, you know, they were hitting on all cylinders come the second half. Late into this, you know, second quarter, into the second half, they were just they weren't able to move the ball at all.
They weren't. Some other things that I really am excited for is outside of a head injury to Marcus Epps, who was already a backup, outside of a brief moment where Zach Ertz was, you know, on the sideline and stretching, and we were worried about a hamstring. Besides that, the Philadelphia Eagles walked away with a pretty – I mean, we haven't seen any of the post-game stuff, but they walked away pretty healthy.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And, yeah, I know Zach Ertz had that little hammy issue, but he came back and stuff. But to me, the big part was being able to – you know, exactly. The offensive line, the offensive line was absolutely road graders. They were just opening up holes, and it was fun to see them not just pass. They they sprinkled the pass in there, but they ran the ball as well, especially when the run was going well, especially in the second half. Using Miles Sanders in the running game and, you know, being able to do that.
It was so nice to see. It was so nice to see. Yeah, now, I mean, when I do my after the game grading the game article, I am going to ding the Philadelphia Eagles offensive line a little bit because there was a lot of slop as far as penalties go.
There was penalties in general, both teams.
Penalties for both teams, but it seemed especially like Lane Johnson. So, I mean, that's something that does need to get cleaned up, but I can live with that. That is something that will get cleaned up. This win does feel good, Mike Bauer. I agree. It was a long time coming. It was a long offseason, and it was nice to see. Now, again, look, this Atlanta Falcons team is not good. Let's be very clear about that. They drafted very high last offseason for a reason. They are not a good football team. But the Philadelphia Eagles did what good football teams do to bad football teams. They knocked them out, and they didn't ease up, and they didn't, you know, play around with them and toy them and let them hang around. They straight up just beat the hell out of them. It was an enjoyable thing to watch. And Max, Mailata did kill a man. When that block happened on the Jalen Reagor touchdown, I laughed. I laughed out loud.
The funny thing was, I got a text message when Jalen Reagor scored from Ryan, who was at the pregame show, and said Reagor won. Because remember, I made that little, Ward and Reagor.
Yep.
Thing. That's okay. If I'm wrong, like I said, that's totally fine. But that was a great play, great design. You saw the, Devontae Smith's first catch, the touchdown. It's great to see. And, they had 3 touchdown passes. Yeah, they didn't, and they had a touchdown run by Gainwell, but they had 5.6 yards per carry. 31 rushing attempts. Now, Miles Sanders didn't get the 20 rushing attempts, but
He did not. He did not. But I'm okay with them putting him where they did because they did balance it out between Gainwell. See, the issue with last season is not only did Miles Sanders not get 20 rushing attempts per game, they didn't run the ball 20 times per game. They abandoned the run game. That didn't happen.
Mm-hmm. No,
they stuck with the run game.
35 passes, 31 rushes.
And that's good. For Jalen Hurts, that's a good line because then he also got his rushing. So it's not that they went and said, look, we expect you to throw the ball 40 times. If we get to games where he's throwing 40 to 45 times a game, the Eagles are abandoning their offense, which it doesn't seem to be, again, after week 1, like it's going to be a 2 tight end set. It looks like it is going to be much more of a, hey, we're going to get speed onto the field. We're going to hit holes. We're going to get out quick. I mean, this Eagles team was exciting to watch. As Max said, this was the first 30-point game since 2019. The first 20-point game since 2019. Yes, that Atlanta rookie guard got baptized. Jalen
Mayfield.
At some point, you almost feel bad. Almost. But not so much. Yes, great coaching and play calling. I agree. Peanut won this game. Go Birds. Yes, Birds. Brandon Apter joining. I got to get Brandon on the show. Brandon, if you can come on tomorrow night, let me know in the comments section. Another positive. They were close to no second and long and third and long downs. Yeah, they did not get behind the chains. That was big and important.
Oh, that's huge. That's absolutely huge. But, you look at this, whole performance and a guy like Javon Hargrave, which, last year it was tough on him, and 2 sacks, disruptive. The defensive line, once, Atlanta had to pass it was basically over, absolutely over, because even Hassan Ridgeway being able to, make some plays in there, having a veteran inside tackle, but they were getting pressure. And that's the one thing that we've mentioned and we talked about is the defensive line. The defensive line is going to be so crucial to the success of this team, because if you get pressure, the back end of the Eagles defense is going to be able to feast, honestly.
Absolutely. Yeah, and look, the one touchdown probably should have been incomplete. We will never know. We'll never know because Atlanta's field is absolutely awful.
Shoulda, coulda, woulda. Ezekiel Elliott should have scored on that play, but he got tackled by Andrew Adams and Dallas lost. So,
we will never know. Yes, Hurts extends the plays. One negative, the Gainwell 4th down run. You need a hand. Yeah, I did not agree with calling for either of the 4th down runs that were denied. Look, I have a problem with taking points off of the board. You got to make sure that, Elliott is in midseason form. And if you're going to run that play, it cannot be with Kenny Gainwell on a one. You need Miles Sanders, who's picking up 4 to 5 to 6 yards per carry. You can't make that. Brandon, I agree. Jalen Hurts was calm, cool, and collected the whole entire game. That's his entire demeanor. That's what he does.
But it's nice to see because 27 of 35. We had some people have issues with the completion percentage that he had last year in some of his games. 27 to 35, a 126.4 quarterback rating. It's a great debut for the Nick Sirianni offense and the Eagles. It was such a great debut, and it's refreshing. It's so refreshing to see.
He led the team. That's what a leader does. Yeah, further AM on YouTube. We already mentioned when we started the show that your first place Philadelphia Eagles, because Dallas sucks. Yeah, Ryan, I agree. I love the second half adjustment where they stopped the run because at first they were moving all over us on the running game. So I'm glad that they made that adjustment. Mike Bauer, before the during our pregame show said that Pitts was going to not do well in his debut was absolutely right. Was absolutely right. Was spot on.
Four catches, 31 yards. That's all he had. 4 catches, 31 yards.
Yeah. Brandon would like to know, as someone who has committed countless, are you saying I committed the penalties, Brandon, or are you saying you committed the penalties? Because I play very clean. But as someone who committed countless pass interference penalties in Thanksgiving football, how were the refs? I thought the refs were still in preseason form, to be honest. I thought there was a lot of flags being thrown that didn't need to be thrown. But look, it's the first game of the season. Both are bad football teams last season. So both were going to play sloppy mistake. I did not, Brandon. I did not commit the penalties. I just happened to be open. I think the one day we had Thanksgiving football, what was it? I had 4 touchdown catches on 5 catches. I lit you up, sir. Lit you up.
So you're telling me Michael Jacquet was the DB?
No, Brandon Apter likes to emulate his game as Michael Jacquet. No, I just – go ahead.
No, And you look at what you saw on the field, and like one thing that I was really impressed about, and I don't think it's going to be talked about, I guess it shouldn't be, but still, it's a punter. Aaron Sipos did some really nice punts to be able to, because field position is huge in football. We know that. And if you're able to pin them inside the 10, which he did a couple of times, had a couple of nice punts, you want that because it puts your defense, who was basically the defense, it helped you at the end of the game. And to be able to do that, I thought that was great. I know a lot of punters don't get, they're punters, but still, he made a lot of countless, punts that helped.
No, we have seen multiple games get blown because of special teams. So I don't even want to hear like, oh, it's just punters. The fact of the matter is that Aaron Sipos had a great game. It was back to skill special teams. Back to skill-based special teams. I agree, Matt. It was a refreshing game to watch. There's a long way to go. But I agree. Polk high, 4 touchdowns, chips, killing him, Keggy, Bundy. Oh, man. Listen, I can't help that every once in a while I'm pretty damn good.
Bundy.
So, all right, one big thing that besides the penalties that we want to see improve before we go against the 49ers next week.
One thing we want to see improve. Beside the penalties?
Besides the penalties.
It's kind of tough because the defense kind of made up for themselves. You know what? I'll go to the offensive side of the ball. I'd like to see a little bit more, I guess you could say, I know Jalen Hurts is very elusive, but it seemed like a couple times he seemed to run a little bit too quick, get out of the pocket a little bit too quick. But again, like I said, it's pretty tough with the way the defense stepped up then. Mm-hmm. You know what? I'm just gonna go with Jalen Hurts. Just basically keep doing what he's doing,
continuing to grow,
get better every game.
Yeah, I mean, I was gonna go along the same route here. Matt is, tackling. There was a lot of high up tackling, missed tackles, back to lunging for tackles. I mean, I don't want to go back to that. That doesn't work. We've got to be more grounded in how we need to play football. I think that offensively we did a really good job. I loved seeing the offensive line staying healthy throughout the entire game. I do think that Lane Johnson does kind of need to wake up a little bit because Lane Johnson did not have a good game today. Out of everybody on the offensive line, I think that Lane Johnson had the weakest game. So I'd like to see more out of that. Now here's something that I noticed, and we're probably going to dive more into this on Wednesday, as once the snap count comes out. But I felt like I saw a lot more of J.J. Arcega-Whiteside than I did Greg Ward Jr. and Boston Scott today.
I could see what you're saying with that. I think it could have been also the personnel that Atlanta had on the field.
Okay.
It could have been a little bit more geared and kind of geared what the Eagles wanted to do in terms of running the ball, especially late in the game. You want to just keep trying to run the ball. You're going to get the bigger personnel out there. But also, maybe it was a little bit with, the Zach Ertz, a little bit of a hammy.
Sure.
You have a Stoll there. So I think White's is a little bit bigger of a receiver than Ward. But no, Gainwell was in there most of the time. You didn't see Boston Scott run the ball or anything like that. So
I think some of, again, let's take a pause for a second. we want to very clearly say it's been one game. We want to very clearly say that we know it was against a bad football team. I mean, I don't see Atlanta playing that way, winning more than 3 to 4 games this season. They are not a good football team.
Yeah, they're a perfectly rebuilding franchise. They are rebuilding. It's exactly what they're doing, and they're not going to be very good. Yeah, JJ Arcega-Whiteside was the version of Riley Cooper. He's a good blocker.
Right. But so offensively, he didn't do anything that really impressed us. I mean, he did block, but he didn't do anything on the stat book. Now, Andy, I agree. It has been one game against a bad team. I'm not ready to say Super Bowl here we come because we have a very tough next couple of weeks. But this was fantastic. Here you go. Here's some gambling and numbers for you. Anyone talking about the point spread? Eagles have not had a victory this great since 2017 against the Cowboys when they won 37-9. In week 11 of 2017, we've been waiting for 4 years for just a straight ass kicking. And that goes back to the Doug Peterson never getting this team ready to have that killer instinct. These Eagles came out today and they said, we're going to score. We're going to score often, as I predicted. And we're not going to ease up. The fact that they were still throwing in the fourth quarter, once the fourth quarter rolled around and we were still up big, I was looking and going, all right, Miles Sanders is at like 15 carries. They're going to kill the clock. Yeah, I should get to my Uleka lock where he's going to get 20 carries.
But they
kept passing.
And they put Gainwell in too.
And I'm fine with that. But they kept passing. They kept their offense going. They weren't going to break stride. And then they throw the screen to Rager and he punches in the exclamation point. This Eagles team said, we are not going to even give a chance for Matt Ryan to get back in this game. And they started blitzing Hargrave even more. Kerrigan comes into the game. I mean, this team came out ready to win and was not going to take anything less than a dominant performance. Atlanta's a bad team. You beat up on bad teams. That's it.
And then, a little bit of a rundown of the NFC East. Washington did lose their quarterback in Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Yes, they did.
And they did lose today. They lost to the Los Angeles Chargers 20-16. So, I predicted Los Angeles was going to win because I liked Herbert and everything. But a little bit surprising. But also you lose quarterback with a hip injury. So that's something to keep an eye on. And also the Indianapolis Colts are 0-1. And look like Carson Wentz played all the snaps.
We don't say the name.
I'm just saying you're going to be keeping an eye on that because there is something tied to that, basically what he does. So just two little quick things. Arizona blew out Tennessee Titans 38-13. The Steelers beat the Buffalo Bills 23-16. The Toilet Bowl, the Texans won by 16 over the Jaguars.
That was the biggest shocking thing. Look, I mean, there was some good football.
The Panthers won by 5, and then the 49ers beat the Lions. So
there was some good football,
mm-hmm.
and there's still more good football to come. But the enjoyable thing is that for the first time in a really long time, not only did the Eagles win, but it wasn't like thank God the Eagles won. It was the Eagles won that game.
Mm-hmm.
There wasn't a question about whether or not they were going to win. They just straight up won that game.
Yeah.
That's big.
Oh, absolutely. Especially what we've seen. It is a big the thing is that the accountability aspect and what the core values, as what Nick Sirianni likes to say. And there's going to be, improvement needed with this team, which there always is, no matter, how you play on the field. It's just to be able to leave Atlanta with a W of this magnitude, to be able to, put your dominance on it, saying, we may be rebuilding, if you want to call it that, but
cool.
We are at
y'all can rebuild on your own time.
Exactly.
Y'all can rebuild on your own time.
We made a statement.
It was.
We're not going to roll over for teams. You're going to have to fight your way to beat us.
And again, I know it was against a bad football team. I am aware of that fact. And that's okay that it was against a bad football team.
But the thing is, it's the moniker of any given Sunday. So it doesn't matter if you're playing a bad football team. You can lose any Sunday. It doesn't really matter. You have to come out with your A game every week because a win isn't always guaranteed no matter who you play.
It's not always guaranteed no matter who you play.
And remember,
You know-
Eagles teams last couple of years, didn't they play down to their competition a lot of the time?
Always they play down to their competition.
Not today.
No, not today at all. Like I said, this was a good win. Yeah, I'm looking here. Philly teams don't beat bad teams. Yeah, normally they don't. Andy's saying, remember the Dolphins? That was a bad team in 2019.
Very bad.
And does Jeff make it out of Atlanta alive? I bet the Falcons fans are pissed. I don't know. I don't know. I'm hoping that he's recording videos of him singing the Eagles fight song just because that's what I would do. Well, and I feel like that's what needs to happen.
I think he'll make it out alive because if you looked at the end of that game, there was like 25 people in the stand. So I'm sure he'll be okay. And I did hear Eagles chants too at the end of the game. So I'm sure he'll be fine.
I also think he makes it out alive because, as we clearly saw, there was no fight in the Atlanta Falcons. There can't be a lot of fight in Atlanta.
Yeah,
you know, that's not a good team. And as Matt's saying here, they don't really like their sports teams. Jeff's going to be just fine. So I can't wait to hear about, his wonderful trip. All right, so we kind of did this, but give me the biggest positive and biggest negative. We've kind of done this already. My biggest positive was that we got out healthy. My biggest negative was the penalties.
How about we do this? Who is your player of the game?
Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, I guess that's an easy one. I definitely have to say Jalen Hurts.
Besides it, look, because Jalen Hurts' numbers were just impressive, and he did exactly what he was supposed to do. If we wanted to go besides Jalen Hurts, can Nick Sirianni be a player of the game?
He's not a player.
But I think what he had to do was more important than anything else today.
I can see what you're saying there, but
you're not going to give it to me, are you?
I'm not going to give it to you. I'm sorry. I can't because he's a coach, so he's not the player.
Fine. Then if I have to give you another player of the game, I'm going to go Devontae Smith. That's just a hell of a debut.
Why are you going to keep taking my player? So I'm going to go different. I'm going to go the other side of the.
You have to go different.
I'm going to go Javon Hargrave. And the reason I'm going Javon Hargrave. He had those 2 sacks at the tail end of the game, but they were big plays because you're stopping an Atlanta team trying to drive down the field. So, created havoc in the middle of the defense. I'm going to go Javon Hargrave, got 2 sacks. It's great to see because of what he was basically what we all thought he was going to be when he coming from Pittsburgh, and he struggled early in the year last year because he was hurt. So seeing him get off on the right foot is great to see. So I'm going to give it to Javon Hargrave.
Yeah, I agree. And it was funny because at the end of the game, towards the end of the game, this Eagles, there hadn't been any sacks because Matt Ryan gets rid of a ball very, very quickly. But then all of a sudden they went, all right, this offensive line is tired and they suck and we're going to run over them. And that's what happened. And I enjoyed it. I was here for it.
Yeah. No, I said I want to see sacks. I want to see the defense get pressure. That's, I want to see the chaos on the defense side of the ball to confusing the offense, their team's offense. But it was great. It was absolutely great to see that, especially towards the end of the game when they needed. They pinned their ears back and they just went for it.
Right. I mean, they knocked him out. I mean, there was a no question of it. It was a straight knockout punch. They did what they had to do. Yeah. So moving forward, we have San Francisco next week. We saw that they put up 41 points on, again, a bad football team. So I think that'll be a good sign. We'll really break it down on Wednesday. But look, we did a pregame show live at the West End. That you make sure the next away game people are coming out for that. There's still chips and dish tomorrow night. There is, burning bridges on Tuesday. Wednesday is our Eagles weekly show. I believe we are getting a San Francisco 49ers podcaster to join us. We are in the works on a couple of them. See if one of them will commit. Much like their quarterback issue, they can't seem to commit to just one. So we are having the same issue. And then, Thursday's Across the Pitch. Friday is Birds, Beers, and BS. And then Sunday, we talk more Philadelphia Eagles. So a big week in AATSports Network. Things that are going on. But again, the news of the day is the Eagles are undefeated at the moment. They destroy a bad Atlanta Falcons team 32-6. That's Johnny Uleka at Johnny U 9322. I am Chip at Chip for the Birds. Make sure you are checking out all of our great sponsors. They are in the bio of all the shows. We're going to shout out one specifically because I'm wearing the shirt, Manscaped. Which, of course, your balls will thank you. And we're going to play a commercial. We're out. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Go Birds.
Go Birds.
And we'll catch you. We'll catch you on the flippity flop. Peace out. I'm not Jameis Winston eating the W. That's so weird. We're out of here. See you guys. Attention, listeners across the galaxy, all the way from Australia to Houston. Do we have a pube problem? If so, our friends at Manscaped have cleared you for takeoff with their 4th generation and brand new Lawnmower 4.0. Kick your pubes to the next planet with the Performance Package 4.0. The orbits in your pants will feel like you're in zero gravity when you use the best tools for the job from the leaders in male grooming. Join the 2 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped and get your rocket ready for takeoff by going to manscaped.com for 20% off and free shipping with the code AATBIRDS. Ready for an out-of-world experience, fellas? Look no further than the Performance Package 4.0 from Manscaped that has just taken off in not only the USA, but Canada, the UK, across Europe, Australia, South Africa, and Singapore. Inside this package, you'll find their Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer, Weed Whacker ear and nose hair trimmer, Crop Preserver ball deodorant, Crop Reviver toner, Performance boxer briefs, and a travel bag to hold your whole solar system. First, scheduled for liftoff, new Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer. This spaceship is here to guide you on a journey to trim your body, balls, butt, and even Uranus. This 4th generation trimmer also features a cutting-edge ceramic blade to reduce grooming accidents thanks to their advanced skin-safe technology. The Lawnmower 4.0 has a 7,000 RPM motor, a new multifunction on-off switch, can engage a travel lock, and is even waterproof. The Lawnmower 4.0 also has a 4000K LED spotlight you can turn on and off when needed for a more precise shave throughout your travels across the universe. The Performance Package 4.0 also includes the Weed Whacker. It's like having a little astronaut to chop your worst weeds up top in your nose and ear. The Weed Whacker is also waterproof and uses a 9,000 RPM motor-powered 360-degree rotary dual-blade system. This nose and ear hair trimmer provides proprietary skin-safe technology, which helps prevent nicks, snags, and tugs in those delicate holes. Don't forget to use Crop Preserver ball deodorant and their Crop Reviver to help your little planets be on their A-game while feeling the sun's heat. Manscaped even threw in 2 free gifts to their Performance Package 4.0, the Manscaped Boxers and the Shed Travel Bag. Abort hairy balls and Buzz Lightyear that Woody with Manscaped. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code AATBIRDS at manscaped.com. That's 20% off and free shipping with the code AATBIRDS at manscaped.com. For a clean trinity and beyond, your Spaceballs will thank you.